Hey guys, Rose here, Campbell Horsemanship. I'm here today with Shiner. Shiner is a 2.5-year-old American Paint Horse Association little gelding. Actually, he's pretty big. And he's from Barlin Stables here in Swan River, and he's just such a nice little prospect. Really enjoying having him around and having a young guy. We kind of laughed when we found out his name was Shiner. I said, boy, that could go either way. And actually the very first time that we went to try to put the halter back on him, he gave me a black eye. So that's kind of the joke now, and we'll forever remember Mr. Shiner as that guy that gave me the black eye. Yeah, he was super good. He was at the Yorkton auction, so we bought him the end of September. And his halter broke to a point where you can put the halter on him, but when we got it off of him when we got here, he definitely did not want it back on. So he's a really good one to show you guys a little bit of Liberty work. He's not part of our program, so he's not like Harley, who's done this since forever. Everything is new for him. And for Shiner, it really had to be his idea that he wanted to have the halter on, or it just wasn't going to work. So with working through Liberty work and just letting him kind of develop some trust. He was really flighty up in the head. That's why he did hit me in the head. When I first went up, I didn't realize he was quite so reactive, and he hit me. So just little things like that, right? That he was just far, far too reactive. If I had forced the halter on, guaranteed I would have had to do that again. And he was already too smart, the grain, that type of thing. He knew it was a trap. It wasn't going to work. So he's a really sweet guy, actually, now. And I'm going to work with him a little bit and just kind of go through a few things. And this might work for you guys that have trouble with your horses catching. And yeah, enjoy. So for Shiner right now, he's still pretty shy. I'm one of the few things that he really likes. If my husband was to walk up to him, he'd be gone. He still doesn't hang around. He doesn't really want attention from anybody but me. And I've slowly grown where you can see that I'm actually rubbing him pretty hard here. And when he first came, if I even put my hand here, he was gone. If I gave a double tap, he would freak out for the first couple weeks. So you can see how he's still slightly sensitive to that. So I make it my purpose to really rub him, and I put some fingernails in and make it enjoyable, but to really rub him in a way that he has to deal with me touching him, so that he can get ahead with the rest of his training. If I can't get to that point, you know, the saddle, anything's gonna just be way, way too much. So I make it kind of enjoyable for him to be around me and be with me as much as I can. And then what I'm looking for is for him to pay attention to where I am, look in just like he just did, and then maybe mirror me a little bit. So if I step away, he follows my footsteps. Now here he walked off, that's okay. I don't mind that. He's still young, it's just part of the process, but I want to see if I can bring him back into me. So he never really kind of went to a point where he wasn't paying attention at all anymore. And if I stop with my body and I open my body up and ask, see if he wants to come in again, Now this guy is, I have no worries about putting a halter on. Walk up, he sees me coming, he wants a halter on. But in the beginning that was really difficult. So that took about a month of bringing him in here, chasing him around a little bit, but then really offering, hey, do you want to come and hang out with me? And while this was happening, he didn't have maybe the best manners around the other horses. So they were kind of being pretty hard on him and beating him up a little bit. And so between the two of them, I was kind of a nice reprieve from what they were doing to him. And as soon as he backed down and accepted his place in the herd, they left him alone. But in that first beginning there, he really didn't want to do that. He was kind of pushy and taking me on a little bit. And now you can just tell that he's just totally different. I really like him. He's quite sensitive. This side is still a little bit more sensitive. So I work a bit to make sure he's okay with me being in this eye and that everything is good. And the same thing, just want to, make this kind of his time, give him some love, give him some rubs. I'm not giving him any treats. I don't want this to be about treats at all. At the very end of his session, he gets trained. But during, I see a lot of Liberty work where they're giving treats constantly. And what you're going to find, what I found is you end up with really nippy horses and almost horses with a bit of an entitlement factor. So they go, I'll do this, but what is in it for me? And I really don't want him to think about anything in it for him but me. This is his treat. This right here. So I get right up there, rub the head. I have not had a horse that didn't enjoy this. I've had the shyest of horses to the absolute cuddliest of horses. And they all seem to just really love that little head rub. So that's always been my treat. And guess what? I always have that with me. So I'm never going to be a point where, oh shoot, I don't have treats in my pocket. I always have that. I'm always able to do that, which keeps my consistency with them very much there. So anytime that he's coming up, whether it's be in the field or he's done something good in here and I call him in, I can always consistently be telling him that he did a good job. And now he can always be looking for that. So if I step away, he's like looking back to see, hey, maybe there's something in this for me. And if I step back up, he's no longer head shy. So this is going to make bridling so much easier. This is going to make all of those things. Is a little bit of sneaking. I've seen it lots of times, I've addressed it lots of times. We have a hard horse to catch, so we start hiding the halter, sneaking, the grain. All of those are actually predatory moves. So we have to be very careful because when we act like a predator, our horse is even more switched on and really paying attention to our movements. So I don't ever sneak. I don't ever hide that this is in my hand. I never want to sneak up to my horse. I walk directly up to them. Hopefully they walked up to me, just like Shiner here. I open it up. I'm using a rope halter. He's a younger horse. I open it up. I let him see it. If he needs a second there, that's fine. And I just kind of hold it there and let him accept it. If he was to go back right now, I wouldn't do anything but take it off. Give him another pat. So here, because he's younger and a little head shy, I'm going to hold it and switch to this side. And be really respectful in my way of coming around here. And then basically he knows that rope's going to swing over. Come back to this side. Good boy. Tighten the rope. Now he knows it's there, so it can't freak him out. Coming around, through the hole, back towards the back side of the horse. Reward. And there I have a haltered horse. So I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. And maybe there's a few things in there that you understand, that maybe it's the slinging of the rope over that gets to your horse. Just really respecting a young horse. If I had an older horse, no, I'm not going to tippy-toe around them. but I already know these are little things that bother my horse. And like I said, it doesn't really matter if your horse is 20 years broke. If they have a few of these issues, it's probably more than just the halter. It's probably more than just being caught, especially on a broke horse. What's going on up here? If I rub up here, do I get any reaction? Is my horse getting higher and further away from me? If I touch an ear, are they throwing back a little bit? Maybe they got something going on in the ears. So check those little things. Shiner here is just still a little bit unsure. So anytime he's kind of getting, you can kind of tell his ears are getting a little flatter, he's getting a little bit crankier, I'm going to go back to something that I know he has no worry about. And I'm also on the more sensitive side. So another thing that I could do, if I'm trying to do ears, I might go on this side that I know is a little bit more calm and confident, and maybe I'll touch this ear. And I'll give a little scratch in there. There, that ear went forward. Give a little scratch in there. Come right up here in the forelock. Shortly, I will be teaching him how to lower his head with some head cues. But like I said, right now, he's a 2-year-old colt that's just learning all this. This is good enough. So another thing that I want to show you guys is establishing a go forward cue. So we do that with the halter. I'm just going to step back so you can see. So we do that with the halter. I'm going to let my horse go out away from me. Walk. Walk. Good. Good boy. Walk. He wants to go this way. I'm not really too worried about that. Actually, he just put me on his weaker side, so I'm kind of happy to see that. Horses that don't have a very good go forward cue. So it's something that I'm going to be working lots on with Shiner as we go forward here, and something that I work on with pretty much every one of my horses. Harley, because I told you he was cold backed, I will do walk, trot, and canter on the line both ways lots of times before I get on. If I feel like he's just too cold, and usually I have to do walk, trot before I even fully tighten his sitch. So those are just little things where it's so super handy to have. And if I was to take this guy to a strange place and he was just really losing it, best thing I can do is just let him do a few circles like that and take it easy. All right, guys, I hope those are some tips that help you. Let me know if you're having trouble catching your horse, and if anything that doesn't work, I'll try to come up with some more stuff for you. All right, take care. Bye.